Hey. Back
Hello. Yeah, another Sunday.
Yeah. Gosh, where are these weeks going? It'll be soon winter. I'll be freezing and complaining.
I mean, we were complaining not long ago about the rain. I mean, it just didn't stop raining. Now it's really warm.
It's raining here.
Oh, is it? It rained. Yeah. I tell you, funny you say that. I woke up this morning and walked the dogs, and the ground was all wet. So it must have rained over the night.
Mm.
So
yeah, it's always grim up north, as they say. But yeah, no, it's a bit. Weather's been a bit rubbish over the last few days, but you know, I think we've had a summer now, so
yeah, that's our summer gone now. That's it. Bye.
I don't know why. Some glue just fell off the shelf for some strange reason.
Oh,
yeah,
they're trying to attack you.
Oh, I don't know. I had this at night. Honestly, I don't normally have glue open on my desk, but I had to at this point. And what happened? Picked it up, some came out, went all over my hand.
Oh no!
So I'm literally at the sink with a scourer, washing up liquid, scrubbing it off because it doesn't hurt my hands. Yeah. Years of working in takeaways and kitchens, I don't have much feeling in my hands anymore. But
yeah.
It was lovely and soft after though.
So there's been a lot of stuff this week. So well, I say a lot of stuff. There's been a few things this week.
Yeah.
Do we talk about the first thing, the Dalek?
Yeah, I will bring it up on screen.
Okay. So just to let everyone know that last week we reported on the Falcon going up for an interest, which is like this. The Dalek this week went up. The page went up. It went up for the USA and the UK. So this will be available in the USA and UK. You put your email address in there, and you get notified when the collection launches. That website there only goes up when it's due to come out.
Well,
so
I am actually just gonna put this in the chat. So
so get along there, put your email address in, and you'll be notified when it's up and running. We don't know at this point when it's going to be up, but it will definitely be coming out. Like I said, they only do that website link when it's due to be released.
Yeah.
They've done the GT Falcon as well, the Interceptor, I should say. That was last week, and this week was the Dalek's turn. So we're going to get both of those builds from Hachette. Both of them are going to be available in the US and the UK. We don't know on timescale whether they're going to be released at the same time or whether they're going to alternate between the releases. We don't know yet. So just make sure you put your email address. You'll be emailed when they start.
Yeah. Well, I won't be putting my email address in because I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan, but you know.
Yeah, that one I will 100% be doing on the channel. That one, the Dalek, that is definitely me. I could see there being lots, and I mean lots of mods for this. So if you're a modder, it's modding heaven effectively, because though you've got the plunger there as his weapon, as one of his weapons, in actual fact they do loads of different attachments for that arm. I know some people said they would like to have the 60s version. I think the lights on the top of his head could be easily swapped out for dome ones instead of the more sort of light bulby shape, I should say. And yeah, I mean, even inside where you can see the Dalek, in the show, there's like a little panel in there that lights up that he pushes. I don't know if it's actually on that one or not, but even if it is, it's not going to be one that's sort of like a video style like they've done for the Knight Rider and things like that. So that is mod as hell. Secondly, as well, there's loads of different colours, so it'd be interesting to see if someone builds one and does it as a different Dalek.
I don't think that'd be hard to do, but yeah.
No, it definitely wouldn't be hard to do. I mean, there's black. There was an Ironside one that they did, which was based on like a World War II one, which had World War like a packages round the middle of the dome, and it was in the It was like in the military green, and it had Union Jack on it and stuff like. Like I said, that is for anyone who likes Doctor Who and stuff like that. It's a must. But secondly, I think that's a modest heaven because there's loads of parts that I think you could mod on that. But yeah, that went up this week. So if you're a Doctor Who fan, get yourself over there. Also, as well, we'll have make sure you subscribe to both our channels because we'll have more information on that as it comes available. So we'll probably know if it's due to be released in the newsagents. We'll probably know a couple of weeks before it's actually released. I won't be able to tell everyone. So
fantastic.
You got another thing, Mark? Yeah.
So I was contacted by a subscriber today who watches the show, Odd Harold Olsen, who sent me. Well, first he sent me a Facebook group to go to, and then that linked me to a website. But the website this is now available as a partwork. It was available as a full build. It still is available as a full build, but this is the Orrery solar system.
Yeah.
And there we go. So this is one we know World of Weight did on his channel.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very old Eaglemoss build.
Yeah.
So I remember Eaglemoss releasing this. In fact, I think they released it a few times. I think they released it a few times.
I believe Dave Matt Builds has also done it when it was with Eaglemoss.
Yeah, it's a fairly old build, but it's a popular build. It's one of those ones that when it crops up, lots of people do it. They've got a premium subscription on there as well, haven't they?
Yeah, so you can go for the full build. If I just bring this up. So you can go for the full build, which is £399.
That's really good.
There is a basic one, which is £40 per month. This is over 12 months, so it's not a long build. And it's just the basic build, or you can go for a premium build, which is this one here, which includes all the books that there is and also the gemstone planets. So,
yeah, that's the one I think you would like to, if you really want to go full out. That's the nice one because the planets are the gem ones, which really make it pop. So you can see just on that picture there, just take that picture back up there a minute, Mark, where it's got all the planets.
There you go.
And you see Saturn there and Jupiter. Now, if you look at the marble ones, they really do pop because they're coloured.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you want from it, really. But it's really, it's not one of those builds that's like 100 issues. I remember it wasn't very many issues, 60 or 70 issues, I think. And but it's always been really popular. I know when it's always come out, it's always sold well. I mean, Eaglemoss did release it a few times, so
that's the gemstone planets.
Yeah, they look really nice, don't they?
Yeah. So yeah, and then there's obviously endorsements, whatnot. I've watched this. There's a short little video on it.
On the full pack.
So yeah, I'm going to put that in chat also, if anybody is interested. And there we go. So that'll go on to, it should go onto my channel. So that is the. All right, to tell you the truth, it's piqued my interest. It really has got me thinking because there's nothing currently there apart from the Optimus Prime by Agora. That really I'm looking at, and then this comes along and it's only 12 months. It's not too bad. It's cheaper than some Partworks, free delivery. It really,
it's one of those really reasonable builds, and I think it can go together quite well as well.
Yeah.
As well, so it's like I say, it's all made out of brass and die cast and stuff like that. So it's a really nice piece.
It is. So yeah, Thank you for that subscriber to sharing that with me today. Also, a big fan of the show, says, yeah, really thanks to us for what we do. So there we go.
Yeah, it's great to hear.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So he at the moment, with everything the way it is and trying to save money and stuff, kind of got me interested because it's not a long build. It's only 12 months. It's definitely affordable per month.
Yeah, even if you go for the full build, it's still really affordable.
Yeah.
Considering a lot of these builds are now over £1,000, even for the shorter ones. For the full build for that, it's £300 or 400 near enough. I think that's really reasonable for a build like that.
So my question in chat is, who's thinking about it? Because it's definitely got me thinking today. I thought, oh, great, somebody sent me something that I'm quite interested in. So, damn.
So you're not gonna do the interceptor?
No.
No, that's no for me as well. And obviously the Daleks, yes. Obviously Daleks, no for you. But Daleks, there's still a lot of there's a lot of builds coming out. There's a lot of stuff on the horizon. So
yeah, for me, I've always said this. For me, is I'm not just going to do a build for the sake of doing a build. I do a build that I'm interested in and that really piques my interest. Every build I do always means something to me. It's got a connection either to my family, past, or whatever, or what I'm into. So that's why I choose the builds I choose. That piques my interest. That looks amazing and would look amazing once done. It's something I've always sort of gone, wow, that would be awesome to build. So seeing it there, yeah, does pique my interest. But at the Dalek, no. And
Julie wouldn't want a 3 foot Dalek in the living room.
I can barely get away with the Terminator in the room. Don't even go there if I start building the alien, because I don't even think I would allow that in the house.
Not even ET?
No, I don't think I could do the ET. Yeah. I watched the film and everything. It was one of the first films I went to see at the cinema, but I don't know if I could do an ET. I don't know.
Never say never. Never say never.
Can't afford, but yeah, that is more affordable for me. So
yeah. Anything else?
I think the other news we've had through the week is Hachette in the USA at last. Yeah,
they've started to. We were sort of brushed on this last week because they've started to branch out more into the US. Because before it used to be through Agora, so their worldwide arm. They used to partner up with Agora Models, and then they used to Agora delivered worldwide. I mean, that they could still do that, but I think one of the bigger markets was the US, and I think Hachette have now started to realise that they want a bigger piece of that. So. Yeah, it's the first time where it's not the first time, but it's the first time there seems to be now more of a link between us and the US getting stuff from Hachette.
Yeah. So, I think it's been long awaited in the US for Hachette to go there, because even though Agora do some of the models Hachette do and they can ship to the US, there's a lot of models that Hachette do that don't ship to the US. So one of the ones which really I think got to a few people was the Tumbler.
Yes.
Even though it's not the build everybody thinks it's going to be, there are people in the US that really wanted to do the Tumbler that couldn't do it. The Titanic we knew would always be big in the US, but they're having to do that through Agora.
It comes down to logistics and licensing as well. So there's loads of factors in play, but it now looks like that Hachette are actually starting to push to the US side. I know they already do the Warhammer stuff already, so maybe they
House House was another that
I know
American.
Yeah, I know there was a load of people that wanted the Disney Dollhouse a lot, and it was never offered there. But this now looks like everything they seem to be releasing upcoming is going to be offered to us and to you guys in the States as well. Maybe not everything. It all comes down to whether it's, I would imagine, if it's economical for them, so whether they're going to make money from it or not.
I mean, we don't get some of the stuff they get in France and Germany. So, Brad Zeppelin, for one, they've got that in Germany right now. And I know a few people that would love to build that at the moment that are in the UK. So the Grass Zeppelin is one. So there is stuff that come out over there that we would say, oh, I'd love to do that, but we don't get it through our Hachette.
Yeah, I think they've done a few like Volkswagens as well in Germany, and they've done the Citroens as well in France that we've never got here. We mentioned just before coming on the Megazord, the Power Ranger Megazords offered in France, and nowhere else at the minute.
The Unimog, that was in Germany, but didn't come to the UK. So it depends what comes to your territory, really.
Yeah, there must be. These companies must have some sort of system where they go, well, that isn't going to sell well there. And then just sort of buy it off like that. Because also they had a lot of did they have a lot of the motorbikes as well? Did the Springfield and the Harley, did they ever come out here? I think
they were D'Agostini, though, I think, Model Space.
Right. But I don't know if they ever come out over here.
I think I don't think the Indian Springfield came out over here, but I know the Harley did, I think.
Right.
But that was through Model Space, I believe.
Right, the dreaded Model Space.
Yeah, well, another company that we don't see anymore, but yeah. But apart from that, it's things are moving, which is good, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna, like we've said before, I think we're in July now. You know, it's gone quick already this year. We're in the later half now of the year. It's going to start getting darker and colder now from now on, believe it or not.
I don't believe that until the end of August.
But we are at the later half of the year now, so we're going to start seeing more stuff being released. I think Agora are going to I think they've got the Apache coming out, but I guarantee they've probably got a few more James Bond's cars to mention and to come out. There might be a curveball in there, because I know Optimus Prime, when that was announced, that took everyone a little bit by surprise. So there could be one of those curveball things coming out through them. Hachette look like they're gearing up now with the two builds they've got. Maybe they're going to also offer more builds. You know, we still haven't had the Batman figurine, which has surprised quite a few people.
At the end of the day, it's now a very competitive market.
Yeah.
It's very competitive market.
Yeah, and you know what, I've said this for years. It still is. I mean, it has. The partwork industry has gotten bigger, but it's still very niche. It's still a very small buy-in thing. Like you're saying, the marketplace is quite lucrative now. There's a lot of players in, but actually the community is bigger, but it's still very, very niche. There's a lot of people still that don't know what a partwork is, are amazed to see it when they see one, and so I think it's still very niche. So it's a bit like a balancing act on what companies want to bring out, what they want to attract, because there's like with you and me, we have to sort of, okay, well, we want to build this, but we don't have the funds to build that. So it's a real challenging, it's a balancing act. It happens with everyone. I've seen lots of people where they've got caught up in the excitement of a new build, and then they want to do another build, and either they can't or they cancel the build that they were doing previously. So it's a real sort of, when these builds start coming out, it's a real challenge, because you kind of have to decide which ones you really want to do over others. So,
and that's why I do what I do. I don't sign up for single build. I sign up for the ones that interest me, and then if one does come along, you know, I can seriously consider it and look at it.
Yeah. There's I would imagine we're going to see some of those I would say, not the build-up Partworks, but the other Partworks. We know the Star Trek ships are coming, so that's another Partwork, but not a build-up. And I would imagine that Hachette, because normally Hachette release a book collection. I think they've done Deadpool over the years and Judge Dredd and stuff like that. So I reckon some of those Partwork style books will come out. I'm not too sure if they're going to. It'd be interesting to see how they do the Disney, because in Japan they've got a Disney. It's like a Disney dollhouse build, but it's like each room is like a musical box, like a music box.
Yeah.
And it's a lot different than the other one, but it's like little scenes and it builds up a house. I'm wondering whether they'll offer that here, but then again, they never offered the extension.
No.
So, I mean, we discussed it before. The only thing that I can think of why they never did that was it wasn't profitable for them.
No, I don't think it was.
Which would then put a dampener on them doing something similar again.
A lot of people also said the Doll's House wasn't as big as what they thought it would be in the UK.
Yeah, I think it did. The Doll's House did something unique, which some builds do, which is it brought in people that have never done Partworks before. So it brought in a whole new audience. Normally with these car builds, you've done these car builds before.
Yeah.
And you're just attracting the faithful, really. But when they do builds like that, you're attracting people not only who do Partworks, but actually people that like Disney and have never done something like this. So those sort of builds work because it brings more people in. But yeah, I don't think it done as well as everybody hoped. Otherwise, we would have been given the extension. That's the only reason. It's the only thing I can think of them not doing it.
But then a lot of people, even if we were offered the extension, said, no way, not doing it. So
yeah, a lot of people did. A lot of people did turn around and say that they wouldn't do the extension if it was offered. So maybe Hachette sort of saw that and thought, no, we're not gonna risk it. But yeah, it was a bit of a difficult one, I think. Do you continue it? I think the problem is if you've done, because it's on a second extension at the moment in Japan. I mean, if they offered the extension, would they then be obligated to offer the second extension, which we all talked about before? Because if you did both extensions, it's an extra 3 years.
Yeah.
So it meant you'll be still doing the Doll's House in the start of 2027. That's a long time
for an extension. That is a heck. It's longer than the original build. So
yeah, it takes the build to nearly 4 years, just over.
You know, one thing I thought that they would have brought out by now, and obviously they brought this out quite a few years ago, and everything always changes within certain worlds. I would have thought they would have revived the Star Trek fact files.
Actually, I've mentioned that a few times actually, because I've got 2 collections, but there's a reason behind that. Firstly, I had my original collection, which I started collecting when I was in year 9 at secondary school. So that's how long that came out. But I kept the original one. I've always had it with me. And then someone near me was getting rid of their whole collection, and they were going to bin it. And I said, no, I'll have it. So I've actually got 2 full collections of the Star Trek fact file, but it was never complete. It's one of those builds that never completed. So
obviously Fan Home did the Star Wars encyclopedias.
Yes.
That sort of replaced the Star Wars fact files. They've never ever really gone a little bit further with the Star Trek fact files. which I'm surprised.
No, they've never done a Star Trek encyclopedia like that. They've done a Doctor Who one, and they've done a Star Wars one, but they've never done a Star Trek one.
Could you imagine the size of it, though? You need your own library to store it in.
Well, they've done a lot. I mean, when Fan Home was, before, when Hero Collectors, I should say, they did a lot of Star Trek books. They did the Star Trek Shipyard books, and then they did the Star Trek Next Generation illustrated books as well. I think they've done one on Voyager and on DS9 as well, and the original series. They've got, funny enough, they've got loads of bits in from the fact files. But they're really good books. I have all those books, and they're really good to pick up. But yeah, they've never really done a book. Apart from the Star Trek graphic novels, they've never done a Star Trek manual books like that. Like they have done for Star Wars and Doctor Who, because they've done a encyclopedia for Star Wars and for Doctor Who, but never for Star Trek.
But it kind of makes me think, are they missing out there? Because that would be... It's been a while since the Star Trek fact files came out.
Yeah. I mean, the Star Trek fact files ran. I think it finished in like 315 issues.
Yeah,
it was a lot. Let's just put it this way: I was in year 9 when I started collecting that, and I left college when it finished.
So you can imagine you definitely need a library to store them books in.
Yeah, just a bit. I mean, I've got them in cube units, and it takes up, well, the bottom half really, and I've got 2 collections. But it's a bit like the Marvel fact file, because I brought the Marvel fact file when Eagle Moss did it, and I haven't come across anything similar to it. It's almost like the ultimate collection, because it details everything. If you want all the information that are in those fact files, you'd have to get a lot of books.
Yeah,
because it details everything. It details the universe, the Star Trek universe, but also details every single planet that they ever went to, every bit of technology, every character, even like characters that are on screen for like minutes. And then it goes on to like more in-depth stuff, so about the actors as well. It's like, so it's more of like the ultimate encyclopedia than anything else. It's a sort of wash with information. It's just, yeah. I'm surprised, like you say, I'm just surprised they haven't done. Maybe they're going to, I don't know. But the fact file thing isn't really a thing anymore, because a lot of people don't like the binders, which you used to have to put them in, and then you'd have to tear out each page, which lots of people don't like doing now. So I think that sort of style is died out.
That's why I said they should do like the encyclopedias, like the Star Wars encyclopedias.
Yeah.
So
you can imagine though how big that's going to be.
Oh no, like I said, definitely need a library just to store them.
Yeah, because obviously years ago you'd only be covering the original Star Trek up to Star Trek Enterprise, but now you'd have to cover Lower Decks, Discovery, Picard, and everything else that's coming out still. The problem with doing collections like this though is when the franchise is still continuing.
Yeah,
because with it's what happened with Star Wars. So if you collected old Star Wars stuff, it's completely already out of date, because they're doing stuff that predates some of the stuff. So you've got the Mandalorian that happened between the other films, and you've got the new series that's just come out as well, that's happened before anything before it, before the prequel films. So it's really difficult to do a sort of book like that, because I guarantee right now that the Star Wars encyclopedia that Fan Home did, I guarantee is already out of date.
Yeah,
and missing a load of information because of how they do the Star Wars series. It's all over the place, because they're still continuing to do it. It just means it's all out of date, and that's the problem with doing stuff like that, is that it gets out of date very quickly.
Crazy.
But I'd love them to do the Star Trek fact file, but in a book form.
Yeah,
that's what I would like. I have done some, but not all of it.
Cool. Right. Shall we go through some chat?
Yeah, let's get some chat.
Right. This has actually disappeared, but I managed to star it this morning. So
is it D?
I've got it's D at 9:33 a.m. this morning. Going. Oh, you're gonna have to. There we go. Yeah, come on. There we go. Event light, notification on, but on the rare occasion, this stays a good evening, Mark and Kev. So evening D, I did get it. I will log
evening, morning D, evening, morning.
Yeah. Has anybody commented this morning? And there we go. So lovely. The next one is Steve131, who says, evening all. Evening, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
We've got Horlicks in, says, good evening all. Hi, Horlicks.
Hi, Horlicks.
Hi, Mark and Kev. And then he's Channel Hop. Hi, Kev. Okay. And all over this side. Then we've got D going again. A very good evening, Mark and Kev. So, hi, D.
Hi, D.
And then we've got Spider Brew saying hello on this channel. So, hi, Spider Brew.
Hi, Spider.
And then he's on another channel. Hello
brilliant.
On this channel. So, why not? Channels. I think we're going to have to call it channel surfing or something.
Yeah.
Daymark Build says, good evening, Mark and Kev, and everyone in chat. Have a great stream tonight. Thank you, Dave. And I hope
cheers, Dave. Yeah, I hope you and the family are well with everything that's going on. It's nice to have you here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Mad Dad Hobby says, evening all. Evening, Mad Dad. Welcome.
You Mad Dad?
We've got Chris Creates. Not watching the game then, LOL. So that is actually Chris.
No, I was watching it, and then we went 1-0 down, and I turned it off.
You know, I haven't watched any of it. And
well, I think we've scored because I keep getting loads of messages. So,
right. Okay. We've got Ian's World of Models that says, evening, Mark, Kev, and fellow modelers. Multitasking tonight, football, and you guys. Well, there you go. You can watch both.
Well, there you go, Ian. Yep.
Thank you, Ian. Welcome.
Welcome.
Spice Brew says, poltergeists like glue. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always got falling on my head. It's a good job I've got a hard head.
I went for like the normal glue that like just waters out, but I really hate it. So I had to search around, but I finally found some gel glue. It's so much better. A little bit more expensive, I find, but it's a lot better when you're blobbing it down because it doesn't run everywhere.
I've got super glue, gel glue, loads of glue, but yeah, if something's not falling on my head, it's something that's not right in this house. So, that is my link to the Daleks on the website. So there we go. We've got Kenneth in saying, Mark and Kev, incredible and amazing and great models to look up to. Thank you, Kenneth.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Mad Dad Hobby says the Dalek is going to be popular.
Yeah, mega popular. Like we were talking a minute ago about builds bringing in new people that have never done a partwork before. That is definitely going to happen with the Dalek because there's going to be a lot of people building that have never done a partwork before. And it's definitely going to be one of those ones that I think people are going to gravitate to.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can see it being popular. I can see it being one of these, like the Tumbler, like the 1966 Batmobile and stuff like that. I can see it being very popular. And I'll watch people build it. I just, can't do it myself. So, we've got a model citizen in saying, also Combat Patrol is up for register interest from Harsher.
Yeah, Combat Patrol starts in the 28th of August. I already know the date for that one.
Is that Warhammer?
That's the Warhammer. That's the new Warhammer one, yeah. And it's a longer build as well. Normally they run for 70 issues. This one is going to run for 90 issues. They're changing the running order and all of that. But yeah, it starts on the 28th of August. It'll be in Newsagents on the 28th of August.
Right. Spiders Brew says, and Harshett Germany, we get the T-Rex maybe.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that I saw that I was like, yeah, I might build that.
Wait, you're going to try and import it like you did with the Alien?
No, I'll wait, I think. But if it was offered over here, I think I'd build it.
Dave McBill says the Orrery is a nice build. Hachette did this many years ago when I got it, so it was Hachette. But I'm sure Eagle Moss did one.
Eagle Moss did do it, yeah, and I think they released it twice through Eagle Moss. I'm pretty sure Eagle Moss did it.
Maybe
it's one of those builds that went around everyone, because they've done that before as well, where all the builds were released through all the different companies.
Yeah, I'm just reading out this one because he says evening Horlicks, that steering on the camper van looked fun. Don't go there. So me and Horlicks are more or less the same on the camper van, and Peter Webster's also had this problem that we found that there is a little bit of a problem with the steering system on the camper, and that the bit that you get supplied back in issue 71 is extremely fragile, and you've really got to, it's not the easiest thing to do in the world. So my camper van is on hold until I get a replacement issue 71 from D'Agostini, which I'm told is on its way, but that can take 2 to 3 weeks to come through. So, yeah. So that's why there's been no camper van video last week, and there won't be one until I get the replacement parts and I sort it. So, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. That is my link in there for the buildersolarSystem.com. If anybody wants to know. And then Spider True says, Kev is saying that company that should not be named Eagle Moss.
Yeah, model base.
Yeah. Model, yeah.
We actually call it Evil Moss. It's Evil Moss and model.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Don't go there.
Could be either of them.
Yeah. Dave McBill says, I did the Earth, Sun, Moon Orbiter as well, but I had to send the completed build back to Hachette as the cogs were not cut properly. They kept on jamming.
Right. Okay.
Okay. We've got Todd in, Marvel Phoenix, who says hello and good evening all. Hi, Todd.
Hi, Todd.
Welcome. Spider Spruce says Germany Hachette has the Audi Quattro A2 rally version.
Yeah, I see that pop up. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got different to what we've got, and it'd be nice if we all got the same, but I just don't think that's possible.
Yeah, they seem to like producing those rally cars. We had the Subaru Impreza. We had the Alpine as well.
Yeah.
So they've had all these sort of rally sort of styles come out. I think they've had the new Citroen. There was a new Citroen rally car that came out recently. The C2, I think it was. So yeah, they've done loads of these. What they need to do is do some of those touring cars. Now, when I was a kid, I used to love watching touring because it was racing that was based on like normal family cars. So you had like things like the Renault Laguna and Ford Mondeo, but they were all done in really nice colours, and you had like a Volvo 850 Estate and stuff like that. That's what they should be doing, some touring cars.
Yeah. Howard Zinn saying the collections don't really interest me. Only one I got was the World War II tanks and the Star Wars Encyclopedia. The rest haven't only one is the Marvel. Oh, right. So considering the Marvel one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean the Gauntlet is due to finish soon as well, I think.
Yeah, that's not got many issues, has it?
No, and it's got to be coming close to the end now. So there might be another Marvel one in. They like to do the Marvel stuff, so there could be another Marvel offering in the works, maybe.
D says, fair play, Mark. That message only disappeared at 6:30. Notification, LOL. Got in there early. Oh dear. Spider Brew says 2-1 to England at the moment.
Oh, okay. So obviously at half time they were kicked up the bum.
Oh, and D says I'm just waiting on the Spain match. I haven't watched any of it. I have not sat down and watched any of it. So yeah. Horlicks goes LOL yes to the steering. And then D says, Mark, you're glitching a bit. I think I've sorted it, D. I think I know what it was. I had something running in the background, which I've managed to pause.
Right.
Bill says, England are through. They 1-2-1.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah. Holic says, the steering was ridiculous. I was lucky it didn't break for me too, but patience paid off. Would never use it. No.
Yeah, this is the thing that I had with the Knight Rider, and that I'm going to be doing with the Skyline as well. I'm going to tell Kirsty to do it, and that is to just not attach the steering mechanism because it normally runs. The thing is, they normally do the steering mechanism on a really thin, like you've said there. It's like a really thin. It's not enough torque in it, and because the car is all die cast, effectively, you've got the body and the top. It really struggles to move the wheels. So all I did is I just unscrewed it. I mean, if you ever sold it or you ever gave it to someone else, it's easy enough to rescrew if they want to.
Yeah.
And then because I found that the cogs in the Skyline are very, very stiff. Someone did say you could put a load of oil, you can put oil in there or grease or something. But then again, how often are you're gonna sit there turning the wheel? That's my thing with it.
I found the steering on the Miura was terrible. The cogs just kept slipping. So but again, how often do you go? I mean, Ecto 1. I've never really used a steering. Miura, no. Camper probably.
It's a nice little feature. Don't get me wrong. It's nice, but it's impractical. It doesn't need to really be that way. No. It's going to be the same with the tumbler, actually, because the tumbler steering is done with the remote automatically because it's not connected to the steering wheel. I mean, once again, how often am I going to sit there moving the wheels? I just ain't going to do that. So
yeah. I mean, I remember you used to get them in cars when you were a kid, and maybe you used them in them, but not now.
Yeah, it's also I find the gimmick for the windows going up and down. I like it, but it's one of those features that I don't ever use. The windows just stay up. I don't display any of my models with the windows down.
No.
Once again, it's nice to have that feature, but it's one of those pointless features that it doesn't really need.
I'll be honest with you. I display my DeLorean with one of the doors up.
Yeah.
And everything. I do display it with one of them up because that's the best view for me, really. You don't want to miss all the interior. So Holic says at least it went okay. It did. I was there with him, so it got there in the end.
Got there in the end.
Oh, it was a nightmare to do, though.
Yeah, I can imagine because I've had problems on my builds that I've done. I remember the DeLorean original one. So I remember we got an original steering rack, and then what they did, I think around issue 80, they realised that this was by the way, this was when the two parts of the car were already together, and then they found out that the steering rack was too short, so they sent you a extension, which was pointless because at that point you'd already placed the car onto the chassis. So it meant dismantling it again, and I just left mine. But yeah, I remember that quite clearly, that we were sent a steering rack, but we'd already put the car together, and that's a nightmare in its own.
Yeah.
So
no, I don't play with mine after it's
done. I don't get me wrong. I play with some of the lights in them, and I have the functions on occasionally. But yeah, the steering, I don't think I ever use ever in any of my builds. Even on the Route Master.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Okay. Ian's Waller says, yeah, always nice to get it working. Bugs me until I fix things. Yeah, I'm the same. I've got to get it working, whether I use it or not.
Yeah, it's part of. To be fair, it's part of the feature of the car, so it should always work. And I the steering on the Knight Rider does work, but there's a lot of strain there, and I'm thinking either the steering mechanism's gonna break, or something. I just didn't want it breaking. And then I was like, so do I use it? So I just took 2 screws out.
Ian says England, lucky sods, Ohio. So,
yeah. Hi, Ian.
Hi, Ian.
Yeah.
Spanish Blue says, how many times are you going to use the steering wheel?
Yeah. I always use the saying of, I'm not jumping in it to go to Tesco's. Because so many people go, oh, but it doesn't work. I'm like, but I'm not jumping in this thing and going to Tesco's. I'm not doing that. It's going to be on display.
There's so much weight in the models.
Yeah.
That is put onto wheels, especially if it's a vehicle build. I wouldn't want to risk turning the steering on some of them.
It's one of the reasons why they give you them blocks. Do you know the plastic blocks that they now do with most of the car build? It's to relieve the pressure on the front wheels so you can actually turn them. Yeah. But once again, I don't know how many people actually use those blocks, because I've got them for the Route Master. I never use them. I've got them for the Knight Rider. I've never used them. So there's a few builds that I've got them with that I've never used them.
Okay, so I got them for the Ecto-1, but I don't use them. I've got them for the DeLorean. I'd only use them if it was in flying mode.
Yeah.
And didn't get anywhere with any of builds, but I know a lot of people use them for the Route Master because of the amount of weight that is on them, on the screws that hold the wheels in. They're very thin screws. And I think there was a guy, I think his name was David Buckingham, who was doing a base at the time, included the base and them little plastic things to go onto. So
yeah. I've been really fortunate with my not Route Master, should I say, that I've never used it, and it's still fine to this day. So
yeah. Howard says probably if you set them on those plastic stands which lift it off the ground, you can then steer it. Yeah.
But then again, you shouldn't really have to, because you know what I mean? It sort of takes away part of the illusion, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that tells you all you need to know. Is if you need to use those blocks to use the steering, then just don't use the steering.
Yeah.
You know.
D says Mark finished chat early. Stroke England won. What is going on tonight? LOL.
Where you been? Yeah.
Inwell the model says, wonder how long before we get electric windows now all on remote. Yeah,
because with the remotes they've done away with the pressure switches on the brakes and the accelerator. Because if you remember rightly, every car that we built had the pressure sensors on the brakes and the accelerator, but now they do it as a remote. It's all gone. Yeah. Now, in regards to the windows, I would imagine as we do modern cars, and they come with electric windows, I would imagine at some point there will be something. The problem with doing the electric windows is the motor.
Yeah, it's getting a small enough motor.
It's getting a small enough motor in the door, and wires and all of that in the door, and then running them out. Once they figured that out, I reckon it will happen.
Well, you probably could do it because we did get the really small motors in the Ecto-1 light bars, but they were noisy. They were really noisy. Yeah. So that's why Ian.
It's one of those features that I think we will eventually get once the prices come down for stuff. It's the same with the speakers that we were talking about before. Obviously, they use a cheaper speaker, but once the price comes down for smaller ones, like I was saying, like the ones they use for the trains and that, like the Sugar Cube speakers, they're really good and clear. So I think once the price comes down enough, we may be seeing the little Sugar Cube speakers in the cars as well.
Yeah.
So.
Horlick says, bit like Le Ferrari doors, great build, but I think the doors are too heavy for that motor to open.
Did you show Horlicks that video that I sent you?
No, I couldn't find it again. I need to try and find it. I've been looking for it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But Gory did post a video with the engine running and the doors going up and down, as well as the brake lights on as well.
Yeah, I can't
it's looked like they stuck all the electrics on and done the doors up and down a few times. But I'm wondering if that was on the prototype.
It could have been the prototype
and not on the actual build, because as we know, the prototypes are all plastic, and not die cast. So
Holic says even the standing batteries can't open them, needs Ian's power mod to even work better. Yeah, I agree with that, because the Terminator works better with the power mod.
Yeah, we were talking about power mods last week, and we were saying that everything seems to run a lot better with power mods. So
yeah. Deep says but chat keeps coming, lol.
Yep.
Drew says you need a remote for the steering.
Well, they've done it already for the tumbler, so it's one of those things I think could come.
Forrest was making a lazy Susan for the steering to work.
I don't even know if it's for that. I can't believe we built that, right? We built that over 3 issues and we've done nothing with it. I don't know what it's even for. I thought it was to go under the car, but now with the front forced down, it doesn't even go to the middle of the car anymore. It's higher than the actual lazy Susan that we've got, so I don't know what it's for.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Tumble just keeps on giving and giving.
I know, it's one of the. You know what's going to happen at the end of the build? It's going to be one of those really nice, cool builds, but yeah, it's not getting there at the moment.
Yeah. Howard says just don't lose the remotes. LOL.
Yeah, well, this is what I said. I mean, Horlick's done a Bluetooth app, which had a few models in it. I mean, I'm really, really surprised that the Partwork companies haven't come up with an app and put the ability for Bluetooth. So all they do is just add the car that you're building onto that app. So when you open the app and it has every build that they've done, and you just click the build that you've got, and it automatically pairs with it, and it does all the functions like that through an app. I'm just surprised they haven't thought of that. Maybe they will, but I know Horlicks did one.
Yeah, but you have a slight problem then. You go like, oh, I want to switch it on. Oh, my phone's not charged. Damn.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, giving us the option to have both remote and Bluetooth, giving us both the options.
Harlick says, also the problem with the windows is the plastic. They scratch. It opened one of the DeLorean windows and left a line. They would need to be real glass.
Yeah, that would be heavy if it was real glass. Even that small size would be really heavy.
Yeah.
What they've done with the Knight Rider is they put protective strips either side of the door. So as the window comes up, it doesn't scrape along the door. It just like hits the 2 marker bits.
They did that with the Ecto 1.
Yeah. They've learned.
Yeah. Ian's Wilder model says, got small motors in the U96 build and the Lancaster. Yeah. But they need to be, Yeah,
the gap in the doors, they need to be really small. But like I said, it would only work on, you would only have automatic windows on cars that had automatic windows.
Yeah.
And a lot of the builds that we've had, I mean, you know, though we've got the Skyline and we've got the Knight Rider, a lot of them were all manual anyway. So a lot of the cars that we've been building have all been the old manual turnstile ones.
The classic cars, aren't they? So
yeah. Well, actually, I think one of the Citroens that they done in France, I think it actually, the mechanism uses the little handle to do the window up and down. So you know, it's I suppose it's a. I mean, if you wanted to go down the mod route for electric windows, I mean, you could do that.
Yeah. Holly says they did work 3 times on batteries in the build. And then he says, finished then 2 week. Spider's Brew says, is it for the Bat Bike, the Lazy Susan?
It doesn't come with the Bat Pod. But then again, I don't know. They could include that.
Goodness.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I thought it was so it sat on it so you could do the steering. But actually, when you put it all together and you push down on the front, because the front is so sort of jammed down now, it actually rises higher than the Lazy Susan. So
yeah,
I don't know why we built that.
Mad Dad Hobby says the Lazy Susan was the distractions whilst they wait for parts.
It could be, but
yeah,
we built the Lazy Susan around the same time we got all the wires.
Yeah.
And we were getting, I remember one issue, we got one wire.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, it's like I say, it's one of those builds that doesn't have a lot of parts. Anyway, but yeah, it's just it's a long slog, 120 issues. So
yeah. Stuart Gibson says, why do all Partwork come battery powered and not with power mods already included? Health and safety, maybe? I think it's an older way of doing it, but the Titanic does have the option for USB-C power.
Yeah, and so does the Millennium Falcon. It always has done, even before. It had the option to run it from the mains and batteries. I think it comes down to space, capacity. I think there's a load of factors. Also, as well, I don't know if a lot of them, I mean, especially with the Millennium Falcon, now they never supplied the plug.
No.
They gave you the bit so you could do it, but they never supplied the plug. And I'm wondering, like you're saying, it's health and safety maybe because they can't supply the plug. So maybe that's why. But they are, I mean, we've seen it, like you're saying, with the Titanic, we've seen it with the Millennium Falcon. They can do it. So there's options there. But once again, when they come to cars, they like to have it authentic style. So if you had a plug in it to plug it in, it would take away that sort of thing. And it would mean that you'd always have to have a lead poking out of it, which mean it would take away some of the lure of it, I suppose. A bit like the steering wheel, like we were talking about, like I'm pretty sure that they would turn around and say, okay, we'll just get rid of the steering mechanism. But there'll be some people going, hang on, you know, if I turn the steering wheel should turn the wheels. You know, it does it in the real car where we wouldn't have to plug in something. Maybe if they did an electric build, you know, of an electric car, then it would be all authenticity because you could have plug in. But yeah, I think it might be down to health and safety and stuff like that, hiding wire, all that sort of stuff.
Howard says there's a lot of older model cars that haven't done, but people are put off from the spokes on the wheels.
Yeah, the Jaguar E-Type and I believe the DB5 as well has them.
Yeah. Holic says, that's why I designed the Bluetooth mod to enhance the Route Master, not replace the buttons in it. That took more time, but you still have the option to use phone or actually still use the buttons as intended. Yeah,
I think they should give you the option. Just like they should give you the option, you should have a power pack style and batteries, giving you the two options, and you should have the option of using Bluetooth or a remote control. But
again, it's down to cost.
Yes, because they would have to develop an app which would cost money. Then they would have to publish it on and then they would have to update it all the time. So yeah, it all comes down to money.
Yeah. Howard says, good night, guys. Great stream. Thank you, Howard. Good night.
Cheers, Howard.
D. Harris says, and as usual, before stream ends, good night, both. See you next time. So, night.
See you later, D.
A model citizen says, a cable would not look out of place with a Tesla.
That's right, yeah. But would look out of place on a V8 engine or something like that. So, yeah.
Well, I've caught up on chat. Just one more's come in. Dave Mac Bill says, been a great stream, guys. Again, guys, thank you, Dave Mac.
Thank you, Dave.
Ian says, thanks, host. See you soon. So, yeah. we're caught up, and it's 1 minute past 8, which is great.
Lovely, yeah.
So, anything coming up this week for you, Kev?
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday, Kirsty's done the Nissan Skyline. So those videos already on YouTube. They've just got to be published. Yeah. And then I'm expecting RoboCop and Optimus Prime this week. So fingers crossed that they turn up, and I'll be doing them.
For me, as of next week, as of tomorrow, there'll be the normal Titanic, but I will have July's channel update coming out. And there's been a bit of a change to the schedule with the camper van finishing and others, so just watch that tomorrow, and I'll explain all that tomorrow. So that'll come out probably in the afternoon, because Titanic will be released in the morning. And as per the survey I put up on my channel about do people want videos released in the morning or in an evening, morning wins it apparently. So there we go.
Lovely.
So, right, we'll finish it there. So, thank everybody for watching. We'll be back here at the same time, same place next week. And it just leaves me to say, I've been Mark.
And I've been Kev.
We'll catch you all next week, guys. Bye.
See you later, guys. See ya.